Howdy there, folks. How's it going today? I hope you're all doing really good. Well, if you read the title and clicked on the video, then you already know what's about to happen here. We're going to relic this made in Mexico Stratocaster. This belongs to a friend of mine, and he got a great deal on this guitar on Facebook Marketplace. And he wants a guitar that's relic, just an armchair guitar, something that he don't have to really worry about. He owns some nice guitars, so it's not that he is scared to play him and scratch him and whatnot, but he just wants a beater, so to speak. And he got a good deal on this. I think he's making a wise choice by picking this guitar to relic versus any of his other ones. Anyway, this isn't for everybody. If you don't like relicing work and you don't like people relicing guitars, then you may want to watch another video or whatever you need to do. But just keep the negative comments out, if you would. Like I said, this is not my guitar, so this is just something I've been asked to do, and I'm going to shoot a series of videos on this because you can't just do this in one afternoon. This takes a lot of time, and it's a slow process. Getting all the fret wear in the neck and the fingerboard. We got to yellow the plastic and, age the hardware some. So it does take time, and, it's just one of those things. You really can't rush it, or it's not going to give you the good results that you're looking for. We'll put some arm wear in, some nice dings, dents, dirt, all the good stuff, folks. All right, let's get the strings off it. Might as well start right there. We're going to take the neck off it and basically take this guitar apart because, like I said, I'm going to age everything I can to a point. I mean, he's not looking for a dirt bag or a rust bucket here. He just wants some age on it. So it's, again, a little more appealing to him, and it's something that he's just going to leave in his space where he hangs out like an armchair guitar. So here we go. Let's get the strings cut off. Okie doke. Get all them windings out of there. Alright, let's get the neck unbolted here. Just like to start them a little bit first and take some of the strain off them real quick. There we go. So I'm going to have to get a bin to put the parts in here. I guess the plus side of doing relic work, if you should happen to slip with your screwdriver, it's not going to be a big deal. I don't know. It's really an art form to do it right, I think. I mean, that's the way I approach it. Again, a lot of people don't care for this stuff, but I find I have, one or two guitars that are played a lot, reliced, and, I don't purposely try to damage them, but, banging around the shop, sitting at the table, putting them up on the table, and they get dings and scratches, and I find that I gravitate towards those guitars more. They get played more for that reason. Not that I'm scared to scratch my guitars or anything, but I try to be careful with them at least. Okay, so we got a thin pick in there. Good one too. Anyway, we got some serial numbers here and a barcode, and we'll look that over. This looks like it's got the adjustment on the back, but I don't see it, no. Anyway, let's look at the neck pocket. Now, it wasn't super tight in there, but it fit okay, a little bit of slop there. We'll look that over too when I put it back together. I may shim that just slightly just to get a better fit there. You want that nice and tight so you're getting good transfer of vibration and everything from the neck, strings, into the body and whatnot. So You know, that's just nerd stuff. You don't have to do that, but if it's something I can take care of really easy, then I probably will. Alright, I'm going to take the pit guard off here. You know, again, I'm not going to try to strip the screws out, but if you should happen to have one that's stripped or something, you're already ahead of the game. You know, if you want to do a complete relic job on it, the screws should be kind of rusty and whatnot too, so I'll look around and see what I got. If not, I'm going to age these ones best I can. As you guys already know, these pickguard screws strip something easy. I've learned that you want to have a screwdriver that is just delegated to these pickguard screws. Get one that fits the best, and don't use anything but, because as soon as you slip with a screwdriver once, they're stripped. You'd think they'd be made of a little better metal, but it's the way it is, the way it's always been. Alright, a couple more. I never use power tools doing this either. I do everything by hand just because of that. You strip a screw, say you got it halfway out and it strips. Now you know, if you're lucky you can get it with pliers. Sometimes they'll break off as well. And then you got to dig them out of the body. It's a real pain in the butt. Alright, I got one left here. And we'll get the jack plate removed. Gonna have to snip the wires too, so. It really is a pretty guitar. It's got some really cool kind of candy going on in the paint there. So again, you know, you got a guitar that's really shiny like this, you have to be really choosy about where you do your relicing. There's certain parts that should be shiny, and there's certain parts that should not be shiny. That's just how that goes. So it does take a lot of planning and thought. You got to take a step back, you know, frequently, and just look at the work you've done, and then try to envision, you know, some other places that you should perform your relic in. Alright, we're going to snip the jack wires here. Just going to cut them right up close to the jack. And the black is ground and the white is hot. Good idea to write that down, or even videotape yourself like I'm doing here. I found that to be beneficial more than once. Now we got a ground here that needs to come out. Kind of an odd place to put it. They just left a patch and put some shielding in there, and I guess they do have it ground to the bridge too, so we'll have to unhook that as well. Alright, we're going to take the back cover off. It's got to go anyway, and I can't get the strings out of there right now. What's left of them. I normally take these off my strats. I like the sound of it better, but, you know, again, that could be nerd stuff to some of you people, but it's just a preference. Try it. Take the plate off it, and then hold it up to your belly or whatever, and try to close that off, or just close it off with something, you know, a piece of cardboard or something, and you can hear a difference. That's really what I'm getting at here. But okay, get the pit guard off. Let's see what we got here. They're just that is a Fender humbucker. It's stamped, and we got a couple bar magnet singles there. Pretty normal stuff. Looks to be all original, which I have no reason to doubt that. This is very clean, like I said. So I'll get the rest of the strings out of here. I also like a hardtail strat over a tremolo strat too. It's just a personal thing, but I think they sound a lot different. Okay, so we're going to take the bridge off. I gotta unhook them springs first. Let's do that. Okay, out with the springs. We'll leave the spring claw right there. And let's take these out and get the bridge unhooked here. Okie doke, last one. Now, one thing you do have to be careful of if you're using, you know, solvents or muriatic acid to age your hardware, you got to be careful because all your adjustments and stuff, they'll just lock right up with rust. And that's no good. You'll be buying a new trem setup. Alright, well, I'm going to start with the neck. That's, like I said, it's really time consuming, so I'm going to, you know, do it in small installments so I don't get burned out doing it aboard. But luckily, I have some old guitars kicking around that have been played and played and played, so there's a nice pattern for wear marks right there. So I think what I'm going to do is kind of use this as a reference and just kind of go by it. Let me set that right up. Now that is helpful, I guess, to look at something that is totally worn in by playing. So we want to try to make it look as close as we can. And you know, like I said, there's going to be a lot of scraping, sanding, all kinds of weird stuff's about to happen to this. So that's what we're going to use. I may pull out another older guitar that I have kicking around too and just take a look at that. Maybe look at some pics online too, but I get a pretty good idea how I'm going to do it. And like I said, it's nice just to have something for a reference if you're going to do this kind of thing. Okay, so I thought I'd go over a little bit about relicing the fretboard here. Now, here's an old neck and fretboard that went to an old arch top that I have. I'm still working on it, actually. But you can see where the strings were, okay? And you can see where the wear is. It's in between the strings, so you don't want it, you know, right in the path of the string. So what I like to do is lay a straight edge on the nut slot, like the bottom one, and just kind of square it up as best I can here. Then I'll draw a line with a pencil. So that way, when I start making these marks, I know where I can put them and where I shouldn't be putting them. So as you can see, I've got some marks dug in here now. I'm just using a rounded X-Acto knife blade, okay? And all I'm doing is just really scraping the finish back. And it just takes a few swipes to get that out of there. And again, you want to have a gap in between the wear marks. Okay, so what I like to do is take an ashtray, and I got a bunch of old charred up ashes in here. I put some of that right on my finger, and I just start to rub that into the fretboard here. And if you have a good spot where the wood is open, you know, I'm not sure if I've got these scraped back enough yet. It is starting to take some color, but I'd like to see a little bit more. Now, I don't want them just black either. I just want it to look like it's worn, kind of like what we got going here. And I don't want to see any white wood if I can help it. Now, guys will use pencil lead. I've seen that done too. I like to use ashes, and I've tried stains and pencil. You know, here pencil will work. You can kind of color them in with a pencil too, and just kind of rub it with your finger, and that will also leave a nice dirt spot there, if you will. So I think what I'm going to do is probably scrape a few of them back a little bit more and try it. Let's try this one right here. Now, this is all kind of trial and error. You don't really know how much lacquer's on each guitar neck that you're doing this to, so, you know, it can vary. All right, we're just going to get some right here. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for right there. Again, I don't want these to be just jet black, but I don't want them to be, showing any white either. So I've got it pretty much scratched out. Like I said, I may have to dig those out just a little bit more. They are starting to take some dirt though, and some of these ashes. So again, I just rub these on my finger and rub it right into the neck until I don't see any more of that white, and that's pretty much it. Now, like I said, you can do this with shoe polish. You can do it with, even stains or dyes. Whatever works. It's kind of an experiment, so you just do a little bit at a time, and whatever looks the best for you. Now, I can tell that some of these are taking that dark, stainy look a lot easier than the other ones, and it has a lot to do with how much of the lacquer I've removed off there. So it is starting to get that look that we're going for, so that's really good. But there is quite a bit of lacquer on this fretboard too, so it'll take a few sessions, but you guys get the idea, right? I mean, it's still kind of white in spots. Okay, so after I get them kind of colored in there, I'll just continue to rub on the fretboard with my finger here. Just kind of spread this out a little bit. Now, I like to think of it like this. I mean, these spots don't get dirty. You get some dirt all over the fretboard itself, so you don't want a brand new looking space in between where you've reliced, you know what I mean? That's just my little thing, but again, I just do a lot of rubbing with my finger and try to work that stuff in there. Put a little pencil lead on there as well. That doesn't hurt a thing, and it doesn't hurt to do, maybe skip a couple frets and do it with pencil, so it's not all symmetrical and not all the same darkness, you know what I mean? It's nice to have a little variable there, so it doesn't look phony, which is exactly what we're doing here, but hey, that's what it is. Again, if it means you're going to play the guitar more, then do it. Well, it's a pretty good start. I can see some more spots where it's a little light. I may just hit that with a little pencil lead there. Just kind of blend that in. Again, once I do that, I just kind of rub that in with my finger or my thumb, and just try to get it colored in where I've scraped it back. So again, it does take a long time to do this. Now, as I rub this, I can see it starting to turn a little different, and that's kind of what I'm after. But you got to take a break from it for a few minutes, look it all over, and see what it looks like from a distance and up close, and that kind of thing. You don't want to just start scratching lines everywhere either. Now, what I did after I marked out the strings, where the strings would go, I actually did take a pencil and I drew from copying this one that's worn naturally, and I drew in the spots where I was going to remove the lacquer with the X-Acto knife, and that way, again, you want it to look uniform as far as where the wire marks are. They should be in between the strings, so you got to just keep that in mind. Okay, well, that's a start. I'll refine that a little bit more as I go, but we're getting a few spots worn in there, and it's looking pretty good. We'll add one thing too, like pencil lead will kind of spread out over the fretboard if you're using pencil too, but it also kind of gives it a little bit of an aged, dull look around where you've reliced, so I like the vibe from it anyway. Now, you don't have to go completely down one end of the fretboard and all the way to the end, but, I like to at least do some past the 12th fret too, because you do play down there. It does help if you know the player that you're doing it for, which I do in this case, so I know where he plays a lot. So, anyway, that's how I get the fretboard kind of etched out. Hope that helps you guys. I'm not the only one using ashes either. I saw a video the other night with Brad Paisley. I think it was on Rick Beato's channel. He was showing some of his aging techniques, and not just necks, but on the bodies and stuff. I think he was dumping like whiskey on them, letting it sit there, and all kinds of tricks. He took a cigar and lit that, let the smoke waft up onto the body and kind of soak into that whiskey. And so I'm not the only one that's doing weird stuff. Anyway, it makes me feel good, but this ain't finished. We'll get it a little bit more before we call it a day on this one, but we're off to a good start. Okay, let's talk about plastics for a minute. Now, these pickup covers and knobs were shiny, brand new white like this. This is a brand new volume knob here. So, what I've got going here, I'm not the only one that does this. I've seen this done online, on YouTube, I should say. That's probably where I learned it from. I'm quite sure that's where I learned it from. But anyway, we've got the knobs and the pickup covers soaking in some coffee. This has been in here about maybe 18 hours. Let's see what they look like. Okay. Big difference. I drink Tim Hortons. Good coffee. Never tried it. I'm not endorsing it or anything, but I like it. Shout out to the Canadian folk out there. I'm sure you guys have had your share of Tim Hortons coffee. Anyway, that's pretty sweet, actually. I like the look versus the shiny white here. I think I'm going to let them go another day, maybe, and just see what they look like. Okay, so this is the back plate. Looks like it had a sticker on it at some point, so that might be a cool effect when we put this in the coffee too. But this has got some yellowing already, so we'll see what that looks like in a day. We'll put it right in there and put the lid right back on, and let that soak in some T-Horts. Alright, there's another little update on the relicing of the plastics here. It's been a couple days, so let's take them out and see what they look like. Okay, there's the scratch guard. Let's get a knob out here. I've been soaking these in Tim Hortons coffee for 2 days, like I said. Starting to get a really cool look to them. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's compare it to a brand new knob. Here's a pickup cover. Oh yeah, I think 2 days is gonna do it. Perfect. Okay, on to the body here. We're gonna relic this, and you know, I've been thinking about this for a while. I've been looking at a few photos as well of, you know, honest wear and tear on instruments. So, you know, this is really shiny, and I am going to age the scratch guard too eventually, but, you know, there are spots that need to stay kind of shiny, and there are spots that will have to be kind of buffed out a little bit. I'll use a rubbing compound or something to just slightly dull it in certain areas. Now, right up next to the scratch guard, you know, you might have some wear there and scratches, but you can't have that just be all dull, you know. You can, but I'm going to try to leave some of that gloss in certain areas with dings and chips and all that around it. So there is a lot to think about. Like I said, you got to think about where you actually physically make contact with the guitar body, and you know, take your time doing it. Go really slow. Okay, so we're going to start right here with some wear. I'm going to take it down to the wood even in a little of this, what I'm about to do. So what I'm trying to envision is if I was playing the guitar, you know, where would my arm end up being? So this will get worn right in here. You will get some nice wear around here too. So we're going to start by making a spot right there now. I'm going to do this with a razor blade and basically just scrape and scrape till I get to the desired effect I'm looking for, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so what I'm about to do to this guitar may bother some people, but it is what it is. It's going to be cool when we get done with it. Anyway, we're going to make this right here. We're going to start and make a wear spot, and what I've got is a razor blade here. I got a little holder that kind of holds it, and it just kind of snaps in there. Anyway, we're going to start right about here, and we're going to take this edge off to the wood as well. So here we go. The lacquer's quite thick on these too, so it takes a little bit to get through it. And I'm going to work my way up here into about the middle. I'll start removing some of this too. Let's take it right down to the wood so you guys can see how many layers there are here. That's really tough stuff, I will say that. Okay, we're starting to see some wood here. And, you know, you just gotta stick with it. You gotta get through there. It is pretty thick, but once you get through it, you know, it'll peel out of there a little easier. You probably could heat that up too. I didn't do that, but it just takes, you know, 10 minutes or so, and you'll be right to the wood. Okay, we got the wood rasp out here. I'm gonna use the finer tooth side and eat through that a little bit more. The razor blade works well, but you do get some unevenness there with it, so I like to bring this in after I, you know, get some of it removed, and this takes it off pretty good too. I probably will do some more razor scraping here in a minute. Okie doke. Well, we've broke through the clear coat, and as you can see, you have some red here from the actual color, and you have the bare wood. So I like to think of it like this. You know, you have one color, 1, 2, 3, like 4 different shades there to work with, including the bare wood. So honest wear is, you know, there's going to be some of that kind of left in there. So I'm going to just continue to try to scrape this down and get it smoothed out, and then we'll work on kind of making it, you know, smooth again. All right. So I need to get up here on where this contour actually breaks onto the guitar top, because that's definitely where a lot of the wear will occur anyway. That's where your arm's resting a lot of times. Alright, so again, I'm going to try to leave a few different shades there like it wore naturally. And that's kind of how it happens. You're going to just keep wearing through layer after layer until you get to the wood. So just trying to make it look as legit as I can. Okay, so when you get out on these edges here, you can actually take your razor blade and get it to flake the paint off. So that looks like it's been dinged and chipped a little bit. It comes right off pretty nice. So now what I'll do is smooth in between this outer edge and into where I've already scraped. Just kind of make that smooth enough to blend in. Okay, so I'm just taking some sandpaper here and I'm just trying to go around the edges here and make sure that feels nice and smooth where those kind of blend together. I'm just going to use a circular motion, not a ton of pressure, but just enough so I can feel that little ridge, if you will, from where the paint layers, next to the wood, the bare wood. So just want that to feel smooth, because if it's being worn by your arm, or if you got a shirt, long sleeve shirt, it's not going to be, a big divot. Although, there's different ways to relic guitars. I'm trying to do something, that's a little different here, but, I take care of my guitars, and so does, the guy I'm doing this for. But, it's just one of those things. You got to really weigh up how deep you want to go, and take your time. Like I said, you can't rush this stuff. All right, we got a good pattern showing up here now. We're down to the wood. That's more like it. I'm going to kind of work my way out into this shiny stuff too, because that would have gotten worn too. I'm just taking some sandpaper here and I'm going around the edges where you have the layers meeting the bare wood there. I just want that to be nice and smooth. You don't want to feel nothing too crazy. You got to keep in mind you wore that spot out with your arm, so it's not going to be rough. It's going to be super smooth there from just your arm, or if you're wearing a long sleeve shirt, it's just constantly polishing that area. And I just want to make sure that looks legit, so I want it to feel legit as well. I'm going to go out beyond just slightly, just kind of work my way out towards the shiny stuff. I'll probably remove or just kind of dull a little bit of it, but there's certain spots there that I might leave too. The last video that I posted on the old arch top, it is a K too. A guy that watches the channel sent me a message and a link to a reverb sale of the identical guitar, and it is a K. It's just missing the headstock label. Anyway, that old arch top was given to me by the guy that I'm destroying his guitar for him right now, and it's just kind of funny. I think I had to basically strip that one right down to bare bones and rebuild it, and this one is all shiny and new, and I'm relicing it. Yeah, it's just how it is. Things change, I guess, but it's coming along good. I love what's going on as far as the wear we got going. Now I'm going to move around here, and I've got some different little hammers that I use, and this is my fret hammer, but I screw this on there. This is a good thing to make chips and dents with, and I'll use a few rocks too. Those work good. You can tap on them and make some dents. So, all right, I'm going to move along here and start doing some more destruction. Okay, so let's go down by the jack plate there. I can still see the outline of it, so that's a spot that gets dinged up. This bottom corner does too. So I'm just going to take my hammer and take a couple shots here. Whoops, sorry about the camera bump, but okay. I just got to move so I can swing the hammer and not hit the camera here, I guess. So down in here, you're going to get a few, just kind of imagine what it looks like after you've tried to plug the cord in, or the guitar has come off you and hit the floor. So I'll probably do some stuff down in here as well. Now this little hammer works pretty good. It's I can get a good chip right down to the wood one shot. So if I can hit it, there we go. I'm gonna get some down here on the bottom as well. So I'll just keep working my way around. Put a few chips up here on the lower bout here, lower horn. Some on the, you always get them on there too, on the front of that cutaway. So, you know, I'm just going by some of my old guitars that have been played and, you know, gigged and all that. So, you know, you don't have to go crazy with this, but the more you do it, then a lot of times the better it comes out, honestly. Just a couple nicks in a guitar isn't really that appealing, but if you got 1,000 dents in it, for some reason we're all like magnetically drawn to them. At least I am. Alright, there's some pretty good ones. Okie doke. Well, lots of chips and dings and scratches, wear. I have aged the pickguard. I haven't aged the pickguard, I should say, yet. I have aged some of the pickup covers and the plastics, the switch tip. Things are starting to look pretty cool. I have not aged the hardware yet. I'm going to do that eventually, but right now I'm just trying to finish up on the body here. I'm going to flip it over and show you the back. We've also managed to burn the headstock slightly. Okay, so we're looking at the back of the guitar right now. I thought I'd show you guys this little trick. Now, I haven't applied anything to this wear mark. Now, this is nice and smooth, like you rubbed your shirt on it, or it was rubbing on your belly, or chest, or wherever. And you can't really feel much of a transition or anything, but where the buckle rash is here, I've chipped the paint off, and it's just bare wood. Now, this was done days ago, so it started to change color, as you can see. This is more white, and this is more like yellow. Now, there is a way to age some of this, which I'm going to show you right now. Just use an amber shellac, and just taking a Q-tip, and I'm going to just kind of put a little bit of that in around here. Take the other side and just kind of wipe that out. I don't want a ton of buildup there, just really enough to kind of tint the wood. And it just gives it that kind of yellow brownish tint. And you can also rub a little bit of dirt in there too if you want to, or ashes, or pencil lead, whatever you want to do. It's yours. It's like, you know, a Bob Ross painting, right? Just have fun with it. Happy little trees. Alright, so that is kind of having the nice effect that I'm looking for here. And you can just kind of rub that slightly and lightly around there too, and it kind of changes the finish. Like it'll leave some sort of clear shininess, if you will, but it's like in the right places. You know, when you get a chip like that, it probably hits something, so there's going to be some distortion there in the wood, at least my opinion. All right, I'm going to move up here and do a couple more spots and just let that soak in. Get some more up here. Now, obviously, this is a heavy relic job, but that's what was agreed upon, and that's what we got. It's looking cool, too. Some people may not like this, but I really dig it. I think this thing looks really cool. Not because of what I'm doing to it. It's just, it's got a good vibe already, if you will. And we'll just kind of fill in a few more here and be looking pretty good. Let your conscience be your guide. Just filling in a few more here. Like I said, I'm just taking my time and trying to let that soak up a little bit and just get some good color. I'm even taking some right off the lid of the can, which is a little bit different colored. They don't all need to be the same color. I mean, that's not going to happen in real life. There'll be certain amounts of dirt that collect in some spots more than others. But it is giving it a cool kind of aged wood effect, I will say that. All right, maybe just a little swipe right there. Okay, things are looking different, I must say. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to hit this buckle rash a little bit here. Be a kind of a second coat on that. It is starting to turn a nice color for me now, though. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Maybe a little bit over here. There's lots of little dings and chips, and you don't have to color them all in. Again, you know, in reality, a lot of times you just chip through the lacquer and you'll be into the white, you know, color before you get into the actual paint. So you will have some spots that are going to be white, and you know, if you get lucky, you'll get ones where the paint still is intact, but it's sunk down into the dent. Those ones, to me, look more legit. It's good to have a few of them, I think. Okay, just a little touch up down here. All right. All right, there's the discolored knobs and pickup covers. I'm going to put a new pickup cover right there beside it, just for comparison, and there's a brand new knob. So 3 days I think I went max on the coffee soaking the plastic routine there, and it works great. It really ages them right. They got pretty much the right color from what I'm looking at. I mean, I have some guitars that are naturally aged, and I compared it to them, and it really is bang on, pretty close, I'll tell you. You know, they all look a little different, but they all get that yellowed effect over time. So anyway, that's a good trick with the coffee. I like it because it doesn't stink. You don't have to worry about, you know, some sort of solvent or anything. Just let them soak in that coffee for a few days. Check it every day and get it to your liking as far as how dark you want it. Works great. Okay, so we're going to age some parts here. I've got some hydrogen peroxide in here, probably a half a cup, and probably the same amount of white vinegar, and about a good tablespoon of salt. I'm just going to let them sit there. They'll almost start to corrode instantly. You can see it taking on rust and doing its thing already. Now keep in mind, you don't want to leave like a spring laying on that neck plate, because more than likely you're going to get that imprinted onto your neck plate. So I just got the jack plate in there, all the screws that hold the trem system in, pick guard screws, that kind of stuff, and the tremolo springs are in there as well, and the neck plate. And I also have the nut and washer to the jack. So we're just going to let this stuff corrode and see what it does. I'm going to try it for probably an hour. We'll see what it looks like then. I did want to add too that I scuffed these very lightly with some really fine sandpaper. Just enough grit to get a few scratches started in there. And real light pressure. I just wanted to kind of break through that chrome look a little bit so I could let this stuff do its work. Now this is very corrosive. You don't want this on your hands and whatnot. You know, wear some gloves, dump it out when you're done, and then wash your parts off. Okie doke, it's been about 20 minutes here, and it's already boiling and bubbling. Don't get nervous if it starts bubbling, but you can see it's turning the liquid quite dark already. And I can see that neck plate is getting some good old-fashioned rust. Okay, so it's been a full hour. That's what the liquid looks like. You can see we got some rust on the springs here. All the pick guard screws are really awesome, like copper, black, rust, all the good stuff. Now the neck plate, well, it kind of ate through some of it and left a little brass showing there. Nothing too major. I probably would have had to go through it a little bit more. I may re-dip that one. Now this looks pretty good here. Got some honest wear and brass showing through there. So, you know, you got to scuff this stuff up a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is discard this, put the parts back in and rinse them off really well, because this will keep being corrosive and corrode these. So I'm going to get them rinsed off. Now what I've done is just lightly scuffed up the trim itself in a few spots, not all over the place. I want some chrome showing through because you're not touching a lot of that, okay? But I did want to dull it slightly, and I'm hoping when I put the rusted screws in there, that will satisfy the look enough. Okay, well, I've got everything pretty much put back together here. I haven't strung the guitar up yet. I still need to solder the jack up here. The wires are just kind of tucked down in there. And I got to put one more screw in the pick guard. Now this is the effect you get from the white vinegar and peroxide and just plain old table salt. I just kind of mix the peroxide and the vinegar pretty much the same portions. And I throw a good tablespoon of salt in there, and that's it. So all the screws have been rusted and reliced, even up on your the bridge here. Now I did the springs. I didn't do these, although they did kind of get a little rust on them. And I just left the rest of it. The only thing I really didn't relic was the tuners here. I did relic the string tree. I thought about maybe, you know, doing the washers or nuts and washers, but I think I'm going to just leave it like it is. I mean, it's not uncommon to see an old guitar with new tuners on it, so but if the owner wants it done, I could definitely do that too. Okay, here's a shot of the back, and got some rust going on the neck plate, and this is all aged too. The springs are all rusted in here. I do need to solder that ground back on, so I'm gonna leave the cover off for right now. But boy, oh boy, it's a lot easier to fix a guitar than it is to destroy one, I guess. You know, it did take a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of thought, really, honestly. But I think it's cool, and it looks the part for sure. It certainly gives off that I've been played to death vibe, that's for sure. And, you know, I just tried to think about where they get hit, where they get dropped. Mic stands, you know, you're always banging them into the guitar and into the cutaway horns. Same with the headstock, you always get some dings in there too. So I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, Obviously, it's not an old guitar, but it certainly gives off that vibe anyway. And it'll be hard to walk by this without picking it up and playing it. At least that's what I found out when I started relicing a few of my guitars. Okie doke. Well, thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and also for checking out the other videos on my channel. I will start a new category on my channel for relic work, so I'll put that video in there. So feel free to go on my playlist, folks. I've got upwards of 700 videos on there. Guitar repairs, guitar lessons, all kinds of different stuff. Just check out the categories, fret jobs. Of course, we're going to add this relic stuff in there too. So feel free to check that out. Thanks again for all the nice comments and all the views. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know some people won't, but that's just the way it goes. So anyway, thanks again. We'll see you guys real soon. Be good. Okie doke.